Good afternoon. Today I want to talk to you about a book I've been reading that is very apropos to what we're studying right now in reference and information services, and also our upcoming interview that we're going to be doing for finding out what a patron wants to know. I've been reading out of this book called School Libraries Head for the Edge by Doug Johnson. This is a combination book. It's a compilation of lots of articles that he's written over the years for Library Media Connection, which is an excellent journal. They're very irreverent. He's got a great sense of humor and speaks a lot from experience. One of the chapters that he mentions, which I think is very appropriate for us, is called A Secret Weapon, Niceness. And I think that has a lot to do with the way we're perceived as librarians and, well, classroom teachers too, that people are free to come and ask us questions. We answer them non-judgmentally. We ask only enough questions to advance finding the information we have for a patron, and we don't judge, and we also don't pry. So I just wanted to bring that up. This particular article he's got is called A Secret Weapon, Niceness, which I think is always good. And he makes the quote from Maya Angelou, who you may have heard make this quote before. I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people never forget how you made them feel. Also, it's important that when they leave you in a reference interview, that they have an open relationship with you and can come back and clarify questions in the future. So I just wanted to bring that up to you. It's in this book called School Libraries Head for the Edge, and the subtitle is Rants, Recommendations, and Reflections by Doug Johnson. So it's really a fun read if you want to get it through Interlibrary loan. Another topic that I thought was very specific to what we're up to now is the changing face of school research. And those of you who are in the classroom, this is kind of an indictment of classroom teachers in some way, because I think often when students do research and use your reference skills, they're often given reports that encourage them to plagiarize, because they're the kinds of questions that you can just find anywhere on the internet, and it doesn't matter if they cut, paste, and plagiarize. Teachers need to start asking more higher level thinking questions when they give assignments to students, more constructivist questions. Instead of asking, give me the gross national product of Brazil, tell me how many people live in Brazil, tell me what the capital of Brazil, tell me about the geography. Those kinds of questions encourage, invite, you're just asking for plagiarism. But if you ask the kind of question that is more of a higher level, where a student has to take those facts, those very simple recall facts, and synthesize them and come up with something new, that's when you start asking students to use higher information skill learning and application. For example, using that same example with Brazil, you could ask the students, if you were going to live in Brazil, which would be better for you, to be a man or a woman, and why? Or in South America, which country would be the best to live in as a woman, or as a man, or as a child who's 12, say, for example, to get an idea of what the education system is like. So asking those kinds of questions will result in a much better research event. So also in the same book, it talks about how the changing face of school research. We are not the only game in town now. The internet can give us a multitude of answers to those very simple recall questions. So when you are thinking about niceness, being approached, just keep in mind that the school library, or any library, is not the only game in town. We compete with the internet. We happen to know how to go about finding resources and making good choices about them, and that is where we become more important than a browser or a search engine. So just want to leave you with a couple of those thoughts and to point you toward this resource by Doug Johnson, and if you ever get a chance, in your spare time, you might want to investigate that. Thanks, and I hope you're having a good time.